guys, your girl's back. I'm here, I'm sitting in front of the camera and I'm doing it. I basically woke up this morning and I don't even know what happened, but something in me just clicked and was like, what the fuck are you doing, Amy? You need to get back into it. You need to start actually living your life other than just wallowing in sorrow and God knows what else. And I basically just thought, you know what, if I'm just going to set up the camera and see what happens and we'll go from there basically. I will after this be writing a blog post and yeah, I think realistically I want to talk about the way I've been since Mum's passing in a way. Not like dedicated to that, but I do want to address it because obviously my last video on my channel was telling you all that Mum had passed, which was back in November now. It's been 8 months now since she has passed, and it's safe to say I have struggled so hard, but at the same time it's taught me so much about myself. I stopped doing everything I was doing because I felt like there was no point. And that is a sad thing. It's sad to admit that I basically stopped running at life and going after my passions because I simply just felt like no one would care anymore and I don't have a place in this world. And that is the truth. Because before Mum passed, she was like my cheerleader. She was everything and more. She would watch every single video, she would read and comment on every single blog post, and she was always the one telling me, Amy, when are you next going to write? When are you next going to do a video? And that sort of thing. And I know there's so many other people out there that were also cheering me on and, you know, wishing me well, etc. But I don't know. I think for me, I mainly stopped because I couldn't bring myself for the knowing that the next time I do something, Mum isn't going to be there to see it, or she's not going to be there to comment on it, and those silly things. Really, it is silly. It's silly to pull it like that, and it sounds silly when you say it, but at the end of the day, I was grieving. I am still grieving, and I'll never stop grieving because losing Mum has honestly been one of the hardest things of my life. Like, I didn't think things could get harder than dealing with her fight the cancer, and I thought I was ready. I honestly stupidly thought I would be ready for the day that she passed, and I wasn't. And to tell you the truth, the first few months I was probably okay. I was motivated, I was honestly fine for the first few months, and then later on down the line it hit me all of a sudden that she's actually gone. Like, she's not actually coming back, she's not just in hospital, or she's not just in the hospice, she's never ever coming back. And for me, that hit me so hard that I didn't want to do anything anymore. I wasn't interested in following my hobbies or following my passions. I got a new job, I was doing my job, I'm still loving my job. I'm on holiday at the moment and it feels great just to know that Mum had always wanted me to do something that I would love, and honestly I was loving my job like I still am. I love it. But because I was doing that, the only thing I was focusing on was work, eat, sleep, and again and again and again. And it got to a point where, like this morning, I literally woke up and just thought, you know what, my life used to be so much more than it is now, because I was writing, I was taking photos, I was doing the YouTube videos, I was editing, like I was always constantly doing more. And I guess I missed the feeling of self-achievement that you get from doing something that you enjoy. And I started to feel irrelevant. I was watching other people's videos thinking, oh, I'll never be like them. I was reading other blog posts thinking, oh, I'm not as relatable as that person, or I can't write that well. And I just got in this massive rut of self-doubt where I just literally did not feel good enough, and I couldn't bring myself to actually just ignore those thoughts and do what I was doing beforehand. And I guess at the end of the day, the only thing I can say is, for me, grief has been the most confusing thing ever. One minute I can be angry, the next minute I can be fine, the next minute I'm laying on the bed crying my eyes out into the pillow. It's honestly just, it's nothing that you would ever think it's going to be. It's just constant ups and downs and constant confused feelings. And at the end of the day, who do you go to ask questions? That it isn't something that's easy to talk about. Thankfully, I've got my twin sister who gets me the most, I think. Honestly, she gets me the most, and I don't even have to talk to her and she'll know how I feel, and that's special. However, it doesn't make it easier, because at the same time I've been trying for so long to look like I'm okay, and I guess I've been pushing all of my emotions to the back and just thinking, I need to be strong, I'm fine, I can do this. And I've just been ignoring, I guess, the grief, which is why I think it hit me suddenly so hard after so long. And that's something I want to talk to you guys about, because I think that was the most unhealthy thing I've ever done. Oh great, I've got a hair in my coffee. Obviously there's many people in this world that lose their parents. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We lose our parents, we lose loved ones, we lose people instantly that we don't even see coming, or on the other hand, we know it's coming, but it doesn't, nothing can prepare you for how grief will be and how grief will feel. And I mean, I personally don't feel like it's talked about enough at all. I mean, I know it's not something that people want to hear maybe, or it's not something that people know how to put in words, I understand that. But I just think, from me knowing that I've gone through this, and I know so many other people around me that have gone through exactly the same thing, maybe at younger ages, maybe at older ages, it doesn't matter how old you are, it's always going to hurt the most, because your parent is the one person in the world that loves you like none other. I mean, if you're a parent yourself, everyone says you have unconditional love and you want to protect them, and it's just a different kind of love, I think. It honestly is. It's not a love that can be explained. And for me, I think because I'd spent literally a year caring for my mum, I was there 24/7 around mum, helping mum, even her doing the bits she can do and stuff like that. I've always been a massive mummy's girl, like always. And I think when you know that something like that's going to happen, again, you push it to the back and you just try and focus on the memories and the now, and you don't even think about the fact that actually mum's not going to be here soon. I mean, yeah, I'd have my days where I'd be like, oh god, what am I going to do, and I'd cry, but actually it's not something that you can prepare yourself for. And I think the only way to go about it is simply by living the process and talking. I honestly think talking helps, even though I know that talking is the hardest thing in the world. But even just simply just telling someone that you just don't feel great and you miss them, it just gives the other person around you that chance to actually realise that it is still there, it is still something that you're dealing with, and it's not just going to go away. Because I think that's the thing that I feared the most personally, was that everyone around me would forget. Oops, that was rude of me, sorry. Yeah, I guess I thought that everyone around me was moving on. No one really cared anymore after the 3rd month or so. I felt like you get all the sympathy and the cards and the text messages, and then it does stop after a while. And I think if you aren't telling people the way you feel, people will genuinely just assume that you don't feel anything and you're fine, which isn't the case. And I don't think that's healthy, because it can, I mean, things like this can end tragically in so many ways, because if you don't talk about it, it's just going to eat you alive in your own head, and you have no one to voice those thoughts onto, which I think is dangerous. I've been there, not this time, but I've been there with other things, and it can just destroy you as a human being. Everyone in the world at some point is going to lose their parents. It's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's just the things we have to go through. And it's never going to be an easy ride, ever. Don't ever, like, it's never ever going to be an easy ride. It's never going to be something that you can just walk away from and, you know, get on with life. It's going to affect you in many different ways. And for me, I honestly think I needed this time out to let myself grieve, to let myself feel the things I needed to feel. And I guess, yes, it knocked my confidence in a way, because I've been away for so long that I kind of was thinking, oh God, like, it got harder and harder to come back. But actually, I think coming back and speaking out is the only thing I can do. And I know that this is the one thing that my mum would want me to do. Especially after making that video. I mean, gosh, I was a mess. And maybe I still am a mess, but at least things in life just happen sometimes, and we have to find the best way to move forward from them. And for me, the only way I feel I can help myself now is by carrying on doing the things that I loved and giving myself that purpose again. Because when I'm not doing it, I'm literally just sat on the sofa watching TV, not doing anything productive whatsoever. And it got to a certain point where I was like thinking, what is my life? Like, there should be more to my life than just sat here doing the same shit day in, day out. I want you guys to understand that sometimes things can happen and they can knock you back 10,000 feet. They can knock your confidence. It can rip you apart, and at one point that thing is going to end, and you can either make it end in a way that it goes up or end in a way where it goes down. And honestly, right now I know that people all around, like, suicide is at an all-time high, and it's people you wouldn't even expect. It's celebrities, it's anyone. Like, you could look at someone in the street and that same person later on decides to end their own life, and it can be as simple as needing help from someone, needing to speak to someone. Just, it's so easy to get in a mindset where you just don't matter to anyone. And it is easy to do that. I'm sure we've all been there. I've been there, where you just start thinking, like, what's the point in my life? Why am I here? And some people can't get past that one thing, and eventually it just gets too much. And I think that's the one thing that no one addresses anymore. No one addresses the fact that actually sometimes life can just be too much for people. I wish everyone in the world would just have someone there to be able to talk to. It makes me so sad to think that some people out there just have no one at all. And I think that's the purpose in me making this video, is in case you're going through grief or you're going through a struggle right now and you have no one to turn to. There are other people in your situation, there are other people that feel the same things as you, and there are people out there that want to listen, want to help you, and I am one of those people. I can tell you now that if some random person messages me and told me that they were struggling, I would spend hours of my day just talking to that person and making sure that I make them feel safe, that I make them feel listened to, and I make them feel important. Life is hard, okay? Life is hard. It's never going to be easy, and it's not the way we imagine it as we're teenagers and we wish our lives away wanting to grow up. It's not the way that we think it's going to be. It's not perfect. It's hard. It's so hard, and especially when you have to go through things such as losing a parent, and anything can happen. And things happen every single day in so many different situations, and it's not easy. But at the end of the day, all you can do is try and make it better, talk to someone, help someone. Like, I just want you to know that you're not alone in whatever you're feeling, and you never will be alone in this world. There's so many people out there that are in exactly the same situation as you. There may be someone, I mean, there's many people out there that have even had parents that they've lost to cancer, and even though you feel like there is no one and you can't talk to anyone, there are. And there are people that do care. There are people that will listen to you, and there are people that will talk to you. I just wanted to make this video to reach out to anyone that may need help, or to anyone that just wants to talk, or to anyone that wants to understand the way grief can be when you lose a parent. I just want to spread a bit of kindness in this horrible, horrible world. I just want to spread a bit of understanding and share the way I feel, in hope of reaching out to one other person out there. And I guess just voice my feelings. Whether no one even watches this, I don't care, because at the end of the day, my feelings are out there now and it's done. What more can I do? Nothing. It is what it is, and life is hard. But honestly, you're not alone. Don't ever, ever believe that you're alone, because you're not. Bye guys.